Hello everybody, how are you doing today? How are things going? Okay, we're gonna look at a new game. And I mean it when I ask you how you're doing, like I really do. I made a lot of friends doing this and I really like that. I really do. New content creator on the block. I've been around games for, 50 years, but doing the new content thing here. So if you're new, welcome to the channel. Say hi. I'd love to get to know you. Today we're gonna look at Edgeguard, a new high fantasy dungeon crawler. Okay, so recently I just got Bard Sung. How many out there got Bard Sung? It's a big high fantasy dungeon crawler, story driven thing. So I always keep my eyes out for these. And let's see, it's designed by Andre Alameda and published by Mangy Goblins. This is their first project in all ways. Alameda is an artist, a comic book artist, so he's doing all the art for it and the design, though he does have a team. So it's really a story-driven dungeon crawler. So let's look at the prices first. It's going to cost you between $89 and $149 for the base game. Now the difference in that is miniatures, right? The $89 one is the core pledge, and it'll get you miniatures for your heroes, but standees for the monsters, which is a good option for people, and then $149 gets you monsters, gets you miniatures for everybody. Okay, so when you're looking at a game like this, it's high fantasy, so that interests me. It's kind of D&D-esque. You're exploring, you're going through a story. Let's see, it says about 20 levels, a 20-level story. You know, you go to town and you go to vendors and you buy new stuff with your loot. You gain levels. There's 7 different realms. I think it's 7 different realms. There's over 70 scenarios here. And so this is good stuff. It's just really good stuff. But the question becomes for everyone out there, which is this the dungeon crawler I want? Is this the high fantasy story-driven dungeon crawler I want? Because you see, we're all looking for something, aren't we? We're all looking for that epic fantasy feel. Probably somewhere along the line, we read a book. Might have been Tolkien. That's what it was for me. I was in 5th grade and I read The Hobbit. And then I started The Lord of the Rings and I read all the way through. I was in 5th grade and it changed my life because the epic adventure was something that was put into my blood, put into my brain, my DNA, and I always wanted to do it. I found D&D and I liked games with little individual scenarios, but I loved campaigns more. Now, at my age, it's a good question, and it might be the same question for you. Do campaigns work for you anymore? Because at our age, when we get older, we might not have the time, and our gaming group might not want to be stuck on one game forever. You see, it takes a commitment to stay with one of these games. I have Bard Sung. I've been playing. I wonder if I'll ever finish it. Yesterday's video was, if you remember, Sleeping Gods. I haven't finished Sleeping Gods, and yet I'm considering getting the sequel, Distant Skies. So the question becomes, are we gonna play it? Am I gonna play Edgeguard? Am I? And I have another wonderful game. Is it here? I mean, everyone's heard of this one, right? Gloomhaven. You might ask me, have I finished Gloomhaven? I have not. Have you finished it? Very few of us are actually finishing these games, and yet we continue to be drawn to them, to the epic story where we take a character and we get to play a character, and that character does what? It gains in power. It gains in little details, items, treasures, abilities. Oh, it's fun, but is it doable? That's the big question. So let's look a little bit more through Edgeguard because it is something that intrigues me. It's high fantasy. They say it's delivering in May 2023. I noticed some comments. Some people challenge them on the aggressiveness of that. They say most of it's actually done. What they're going to be doing this summer is an advanced high-level play or deep-level play testing to just refine everything, and then they'll get going on it. So, by the way, if you order today, you get a set of free crystal dice, which you'll have to pay for later. Now, here's something I didn't like. They have a how-to-play video coming next week, right? And there are no videos here, none. As far as I know, I might be the first person doing a video on this game. That's not a great sign for them. You know, Andre, probably needed to get your ducks in a row, get tons of these games out. Now, you can go play the game on Tabletop Simulator, so that's pretty cool. You can get into it. Another thing that you can do is get the rulebook. Now, I got the rulebook, I downloaded it, and I read through it, and it's a basic, it's fairly well written. Now, if anyone's been following Bardsung, a lot of people were frustrated with Bardsung's rulebook. Let's just put it that way. We were all a little frustrated, and it's okay to feel a little frustrated with it because it just wasn't good. So hopefully Mangy Goblin's games here create a better rulebook. Now, the one I looked at was clearly a prototype, but it was actually pretty good, and I wasn't unhappy with it. Now, these are the monsters, the characters you can choose. I'm not exactly thrilled with this. Elven mages, human clerics, dwarven rangers. That just doesn't seem... Whoever mixes dwarves and rangers. Okay, goblin rogues is pretty good, and orc warriors. I generally like a game where I can take a race and a class and choose them. Now, in a game like this where he had to make miniatures, it probably wasn't an option. They look basic and good. I guess they are 28 millimeter or a little bit smaller, so they're not that big. I would prefer that they were a little bigger. The monsters look excellent. I really do like these monsters. Those are the big bosses I take. Yep, and here are the miniatures, and there's 3 of each, and they look really well done. Again, probably a little small for me, but that's okay. Then they have all the character boards. They do have an app integrated piece. I don't know how that works, but I'm glad they do. I like if it will make things easier. If anybody's played Gloomhaven and used the app, it's just 1,000 times easier. So just give us the app. Let's get it going, right? I love this big poster map. This is what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about the big epic feel, I love a map. I love a world that I'm going to. You know, I have studied the Tolkien maps for years and years and years. I just love them. I pulled them. I had the big leather-bound thing, and it had that big white fold-up map in the back of it. I have one for the Silmarillion as well, and I love those maps. I'm like Bilbo. I love maps. So this is a wonderful map to start with. Now, they use in this system ability cards, encounter cards, item cards, explore cards. Bardsung uses them. A lot of people use them. I've been thinking recently in my mind, how do we get away from so many cards? Because the cards in Bardsung are so complex. And forgive me if I'm using Bardsung as the counterpoint to this right now. It's just the one that's in my mind. If you've played Gloomhaven, you know it's Card City there too. I did see somewhere in this, I'm not sure I'm going to find it, that they had character sheets. So there's a character sheet. And I've been thinking recently, gosh, wouldn't it be better if we just took these board games and gave them a character sheet and you wrote in pencil on them, and so you added your items and you added your skills and they were just all on the sheet and you didn't have to use all these cards. I don't know, something to think about. That does miss out on all the artwork, right? Because it's kind of cool to have a card with a sword on it. So who knows? Here's the tiles and all sorts of treasure tokens and dice, and here's the core pledge and everything. So what does it come down to make a decision like this, right? By the way, I saw ads for this on, I think it was Facebook and Instagram, which are the only 2 platforms I'm on. I just saw it over and over again. And so I early signed up. Right now, I'll tell you, I don't know exactly, what makes these things click or not, right? I mean, you've got Frosthaven that did 14 million, right? And stuff like that. And right here on the first day, just started, they've got 13,137 backers. So it's not, like funding in 5 minutes or anything like that. They want to get to 45,000. I'm not sure what adds the magic piece to a game like this. What makes it so that people spend, millions of people buy it versus, right now we're only at 137. I'm not sure. And I think about to myself that it must be something about a sense of magic, a sense of excitement, something that just kind of triggers in you. It's like watching a movie that's good. It's got all the pieces, but it doesn't quite work, or watching a movie that just has that pizzazz. And lately, more and more, as I watch TV, as I watch movies, as I play games, I'm looking for that something special. And I know scientifically there's a way to figure it out, and I don't know if Andre and his crew have figured it out. It looks good, the art looks awesome, the game looks basic, but it's a basic high fantasy story driven campaign. Is it something I want to invest? It's a pretty interesting question. And I'll tell you right now, this is day 1 of the project, and I'm not convinced. I am absolutely not convinced. It's not a hell yes. It's a hell yes, I'm interested in it, and I'm going to keep watching the campaign, and here's my contribution to the world. I hope you find value in it, because I'm sure you are probably in the same place. Is this a yes? Is this a no? Now, a lot of you will come out and go, it's an absolute yes. A lot of you are going to come out and say it's an absolute no. I invite you to share your feelings in the comment section. I'd like to know, why is it a yes? Why is it a no? What is the magic sauce here that says yes, or what is the magic sauce that says no? Now, I know some of you are going to say the magic sauce that says no is it's another campaign, and I'm not doing that. I'm looking at you, Martin. Okay? Anyone else? What's the yes? What's the no? Come in with me. Let's discuss it. These guys look like they're doing something big. They're putting a lot of work on it. You can tell it's got their heart in it, and that's an awesome thing to see people do. And I always want to support that. Will I support it with my hard-earned bucks? Will I give them that, and will I wait and follow it, and then get the game and get excited, open it, do an unboxing video, do a how-to-play video, and then play it and do additional videos for it? I don't know yet. I'm not sure. So that's where I am right now, and I would love to hear from you.